One suburb is about to host an Olympic stadium, a new Cross River rail station, and a complete urban rebuild. That's not hype, that's the plan. Woolloongabba's daily life is defined by architectural contrast. Victorian-era timber cottages sit beside low-rise brick flats and newer mid-rise apartments. Along Main Street and Logan Road, local cafes, boutique retailers, and essential services sustain a quiet, highly functional neighborhood. This community established its modern sporting and entertainment identity during the 1982 Commonwealth Games, anchored by the iconic cricket ground. Since the 1990s, inner-city redevelopment and steady gentrification have shifted the local demographics, turning the area into a mixed commercial and residential hub. Yet on match days, the local streets choke with heavy traffic congestion, exposing the structural limits of a historic suburb that must now prepare for a massive influx of modern transport and crowd demands. The proposed physical and symbolic anchor of this overhaul is the redevelopment of the Gabba Stadium itself. In late 2023, the Queensland government committed to a major funding package, but the actual scope of the project remains highly contested. Official state releases outline a $2.7 billion plan to rebuild the ground into a 17,000-seat multi-purpose live arena. Yet, separate public accounts conflict with this vision, describing a massive 63,000-seat stadium costing between $3.4 and $3.6 billion. A scale often associated with the distinct Victoria Park proposal. Compounding this confusion, public records reveal that final planning consent has not been granted. While the state proposes demolishing the existing venue after the 2025 Ashes series, competing construction claims for 2026 and 2027 remain unconfirmed. With the 2032 Olympic deadline approaching, the responsible authorities have yet to clarify the finalized design, event day transport strategies, crowd movement, or how surrounding streets will manage the massive influx of visitors. Without a clear approved master plan, residents and urban planners are left to parse through contradictory announcements. Beyond the arena walls, the state envisions a 9-hectare entertainment and hospitality precinct operating year-round. Official plans project this surrounding development will yield 5,000 new dwellings, 2,000 permanent jobs, and local assets including youth sports spaces, community courts, and rehearsal facilities. While the Queensland government acts as the primary funder, the delivery of this master plan depends entirely on securing private sector investment, complex procurement, and long-term operating agreements. Furthermore, public finance records show no independent Brisbane-specific audit of the stadium's underlying financial model, leaving the feasibility of this massive land use transformation open to debate. In 1919, the Cross River Rail Delivery Authority awarded contracts and commenced construction on the underground station at Woolloongabba, introducing a massive engineering intervention beneath the suburb. Sitting approximately 27 meters below the surface, this heavy rail hub features 220-meter platforms designed to handle both daily commuter connectivity and the high-volume crowd demand of major sporting events. The station's physical footprint is positioned roughly 200 meters north of the Gabba site, with planned accessibility and surface entrances integrated around Main Street and its adjacent laneways. While official timelines target structural construction completion in 2026, passenger services will not begin immediately. A dedicated testing and commissioning window will span 2026 to 2027 to thoroughly test track systems, signals, and safety protocols before commuters can actually board trains. The Delivery Authority targets an excellent rating on the Infrastructure Sustainability Council tool for both design and as-built phases. Although official forecasts project approximately 17,980 weekday boardings by 2036, independent transport planning assessments suggest that the ultimate utility of this multi-billion-dollar transit asset depends entirely on subsequent density, integrated pedestrian links, and later public space delivery, rather than the rail line alone. To manage the growth around this underground hub, the state government designated a zone of 106 hectares surrounding the station as a priority development area, or PDA. This statutory boundary spans across parts of Woolloongabba, Kangaroo Point, East Brisbane, and South Brisbane. Originally declared in 2010 and redeclared in September 2023, the precinct is coordinated by Economic Development Queensland. In September 2024, the state adopted its first formal development scheme for the area, with an amended version taking effect in October 2025. This planning instrument fundamentally alters local zoning. In the core, the scheme permits mixed-use, high-density residential and entertainment towers, reaching 20 to 30 stories, which step down in transition zones to meet low-rise neighborhoods. On paper, these rules are projected to support 24,000 residents across 14,000 to 16,000 new dwellings, alongside 34,000 projected jobs. Yet, a development scheme only changes what can legally be built. It does not guarantee completed homes, civic space, or immediate demolition. Proposed elements like a new central park, a library, and cycling links remain funding and delivery questions dependent on private sector partners. While the updated scheme shifts toward a market-driven dwelling mix, a separate targeted initiative aims to deliver just 81 social and affordable homes, keeping these units distinct from both the general precinct targets and the broader state goal of 200,000 homes by 2045. Analyzing the actual financial impact of these changes requires establishing a reliable property baseline, but doing so reveals a highly volatile statistical environment. Currently, official records lack a verified, suburb-level median sale price or median weekly rent for Woolloongabba itself. Instead, market portals and analyst platforms like HTAG, realestate.com.au, and Area Search supply candidate figures. For instance, one prominent 2026 estimate places the median house price at approximately $1.61 million, representing a year-on-year growth rate of 4.8%. However, these figures often rely on portal listings rather than standardized REIQ, or core logic tracking. In a localized market, small sales samples frequently skew annual percentages, making it easy to mistake temporary asking prices or investor forecasts for broad valuations. Statistical boundaries also shape these metrics. Data often blurs the line between the strict suburb, the broader postcode, and the newly declared PDA, while mixing detached houses with units. For homeowners, renters, and buyers, understanding these methodological gaps is important before projecting future market shifts. Against this background of limited standard tracking, private market forecasts present a highly optimistic outlook. Lane Property projects an 8% price increase in 2027 following the rail station's opening, estimating that roughly $120,000 will be added to median house values. This figure represents an industry outlook rather than a verified government or academic forecast. The state government, Queensland Treasury, and local universities have published no transparent Woolloongabba-specific economic model that combines the station opening, priority zoning approvals, Olympic demand, and broader Brisbane market conditions. While an 8% jump is mathematically consistent with current high-end median house estimates, it remains a nominal projection rather than an inflation-adjusted measure of real purchasing power. Market reports often fail to clarify whether such estimates apply solely to detached houses or all residential property. Actual outcomes remain conditional. A delay in station operations, changes in stadium funding approvals, or a broader economic slowdown could easily flatline these estimates. While existing owners and investors expect capital growth benefits, prospective buyers face an escalating affordability barrier. Beneath the surface of these optimistic market projections, the physical reality of construction reshapes Woolloongabba daily. Street-level work on the Cross River rail station generates constant noise, dust, and vibration. Local residents and businesses cope with temporary road changes, lane closures, pedestrian detours, and late-night deliveries, alongside a sudden loss of street parking and altered storefront and access. While these disruptions are immediately visible, their long-term economic toll is harder to quantify. Currently, there is no public dataset tracking business closures, lease terminations, or resident relocations directly caused by the construction. The available records also show no active compulsory acquisition notices or dedicated relocation assistance programs for the area. While general transit-oriented research suggests that upzoning puts heavy pressure on commercial rents and small tenancies, Local evidence of this trend in Woolloongabba is not yet documented. For now, the Delivery Authority's focus remains on environmental monitoring and physical mitigation, which remains distinct from a formal compensation or anti-displacement policy. While renters face housing security risks and long-term homeowners express concern over rising density, project proponents maintain a documented right of reply. They emphasize that these construction impacts are temporary, monitored, and necessary to deliver the precinct's promised long-term connectivity. While physical construction disruptions eventually pass, the long-term preservation of Woolloongabba's historical fabric remains an unresolved planning challenge. Currently, official planning papers lack a completed Queensland Heritage Register or Brisbane City Council Heritage Listing audit for the precinct. No formal heritage impact assessment has been finalized, and public records show an incomplete record of traditional owner consultation outcomes. Although the Priority Development Area Guidelines pledge to elevate the visibility of First Nations and European history and promote the adaptive reuse of older structures, these statements remain high-level planning objectives rather than statutory protections. This situation highlights a critical distinction in urban renewal between formal heritage listings, locally significant streetscapes, community memory, and simple interpretive signage. A place can carry profound cultural association and historical value without holding a state-level protective listing. Without completed register audits, formal heritage impact assessments, or documented consultation frameworks, the tangible reminders of Woolloongabba's complex past remain highly vulnerable, as the suburb is rapidly rezoned to accommodate high-density transit hubs and Olympic infrastructure. The physical rail lines are legally confirmed, but the surrounding community protections remain unresolved. While transport delivery has active funding and clear construction timelines, the wider precinct master plan, including affordable housing quotas and public green space, exists largely as a set of planning proposals. State planning documents do not name a specific government agency or private partner held legally responsible for building the promised local parks or protecting heritage shopfronts from rising commercial rents. Without locked-in funding and clear enforcement mechanisms, these community benefits remain aspirations rather than guarantees. For the people living and working in Woolloongabba, the ultimate test is whether this multi-billion-dollar transformation will deliver an inclusive neighborhood or simply a highly connected concrete precinct. Today, the concrete is already pouring, but the community's blueprint remains unwritten. The question isn't how fast we can build the future, but who gets to live in it when it arrives. As Brisbane rushes toward its Olympic moment, Woolloongabba is the ultimate test. What do you think? Share your thoughts below.